So this is the part of the gourd that I'm going to use for my drum. And you can notice that it is deeper than the other half. And this allows for more air to be trapped between the surface of the bowl of water and the inside of the gourd, which is going to create a more soothing, mellow, and a deeper tone. Also, I've already sanded down the edges of the gourd itself, and I've created a soft edge, so it doesn't have to be fully round, but just soft enough so that you don't have a sharp edge on your gourd, because if you leave the sharp edge and you accidentally drop it on a table or the floor, the potential to crack or break the gourd is high. So just sand down the edges so that they're a little bit soft to the touch. When it comes to water sealing your gourd, there are a number of ways of doing it. The traditional way, the ancient way, was to take the tar pitch from pine trees and melt that down and then dip your gourd into it so it would water seal it. Some people have even recommended using beeswax, which is, highly organic. There are problems with both of them. Both of them are not easy to work with. And beeswax, it can melt. So if you're outdoors, it's a very hot day, like in the summer, and you're playing your drums, and you take them out to let them dry off, the wax can actually start to melt again. It can make a huge mess. This has happened to me. So I decided not to use beeswax anymore. But there are a number of contemporary products that you can buy and purchase. Some are water-based, some are very eco-friendly. And these are very simple to apply, and plus the advantages, regardless of the temperature that you perform with them or store them, it's going to keep your drums sealed. So I highly recommend looking into more of the synthetic products that are quick drying, water-based, and all you have to do is just really seal about an inch around from the edge up, about an inch on the inside, or possibly if you're going to use them a lot, water seal all the inside of the gourd. And that should be it. Other than that, it's just time to decorate your gourds. Now, decorating your gourd is really a personal preference. You can put designs on them that are meaningful to you, and I always recommend this. When you get a chance to look at my drums that I use in my presentation, each one tells a story. But it's not even necessary to decorate them. They are beautiful on their own. Some of them have incredible textures and color variations that are really nice to look at. So decorate it or not, it's a personal choice. So now we're at the final step of creating an instrument that you can play. And the final step is creating your mallet, the beater, the thing that you're going to strike your gourd with to create the beautiful sounds. And these are very simple to make, and I'll walk you through the process of how I make mine. What you're looking at is a toyon shrub. This was a small shrub that was planted not by us, but by probably some birds who decided to drop some seeds here. And it grew into this beautiful, lush shrub. Now this is what I use to make the handles for my mallets, for the gourd drums. You can see that the branches can grow fairly straight, slight curve to them, but that's okay because nothing in nature is straight. And so you can take advantage of that curvature, very subtle as it is. Once I select a branch and I cut it, I have to peel off the leaves, and then I'll take a small knife and I'll scrape off the bark. The bark is very easy to peel on the toyon shrub, and it'll leave you a nice clean branch to work with. And then what I'll do is I'll just cut them to size, about 12 inches in length, and I'll cut a bunch at a time. And then once I pull off the bark and pull off the leaves, I'll just place them in a sunny spot in my yard for the sun to dry them out, and I'll let them dry out there for about a week. Now after a week of drying, this is what the stick looks like. And you can see where I've pulled off the bark, there are some nice color striations. It's got some toning to it. This is very beautiful. And you can see where I cut the edge. You can take some sandpaper and round off the edges, the top side and the bottom side of the stick so that it's comfortable in your hand. But I use another trick. I just use what's around me. I use, in my backyard, I use one of the concrete pavers and I just scrape to make a roundness to the end. So I'm just scraping and rotating the stick. And you can see it's a very simple process. No special tools needed. And there, you can begin to see how I create a soft edge so that it's not sharp anymore. So here you can see I've cut a number of the branches of the toyon, and I've sanded down the edges because I'm going to make more than one. I might as well make a few while I'm at it. So now it's time to make the covering that'll be on the end of my toyon stick, and I use different materials. I'll use old t-shirts. I'll cut them up into strips and use that to wrap around the end, and then a final covering of either felt or leather or even corn husk, which create an interesting percussive sound. And that's how I finish my handles. Very simple. So these are just some of the mallets that I just completed. Again, you can see they're covered with a soft felt material. This is an older one that I've used in the past, and this one actually is covered with leather, which gives a little bit more of a more percussive sound, not as soft as a felt tip mallet. These are very soft, so when they hit the gourd, they create a very soothing sound. But you can see the construction is very simple. Okay, the toyon shrub branch, some old t-shirts wrapped around the end, a soft felt tip cover, and then attach it with some cord, some string. I mean, what easier way to make an instrument? You know, all natural materials, and they create beautiful music. So this is how I made the mallets. And don't forget, you can recycle the part of the gourd that you're not going to use for your drum. It's obviously not going to be as deep as the part you're using, but they make wonderful bowls or just trays that you can use to hold things. And you just want to make sure you sand down the inside, sand down the edges so they're not sharp, and they can become quite beautiful. So recycle. Don't let this stuff go to waste. Also, if you're going to use them inside as a decorative piece to hold, you know, whatever, make sure that you refinish it, because it still is a plant. If they get wet or something spills onto them, the fibers will expand and it could cause trouble. So just refinish them. There's lots of different types of refinishing materials you can use, but again, they do make beautiful trays and bowls. So once you've completed all the steps on cleaning and prepping your gourds and you're ready to play them, it's so much fun to hear the different sounds that they make. They're very soothing sounds. Now, if it seems like a lot of work to make a drum, you can always email me and I'll do all the prep work for you, and I can send you a cut, cleaned, and water-sealed drum. So all you have to do is play them or decorate them yourself. And again, decorating is really a personal preference. And I always recommend use designs and symbols that are meaningful to you. It's a way for you to communicate what the ideas or the feelings you have at that moment. So personalize it and enjoy. These are very beautiful drums, ancient drums, been used for thousands of years. Thank you.